What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review. Finally, my long-awaited review for Beau is Afraid, I think is how the title is actually meant to be pronounced, which of course you guys know is the latest film from Ari Aster, man. And I finally watched it, and overall, man, I will say I love the movie. I thought it was a fantastic film, but I will say this is exactly as I expected it to be when I watched the trailers, when I was reacting to the trailers. I had a feeling this movie was just going to be like one of those like weird, makes no goddamn sense, just weird as hell artsy movies, and that's exactly what this film was. And while I was watching, I'm like, yep, this is weird as fucking exactly what I expected to be. And, when I check I'm looking at the Google page right now, so I have the cast list and, all that jazz right in front of me. But the movie has like a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 69% of the movie liked it from Google users, which is about what I expected for this movie. So, to get this out of the way, yes, out of the three movies that Ari Aster has directed, Hereditary, Midsommar, and this one, this is my least favorite of the three. But I feel like it's unfair to this movie to try to compare it to Midsommar and Hereditary, because this movie is an entirely different beast all on its own, man, where I feel like it's not really even fair to compare the two films. I don't even think they're really that comparable, other than the fact that they're made by the same director. You guys know how much I love Ari Aster. He's probably my favorite director currently, working right now, obviously besides, the James Gobrins, Christopher Nolans of the world and all that shit, from not the super, those type of guys, more like the newer guys that have come in there, the newer directors. Ari Aster's probably my favorite, man. I love his version of horror, his vision for horror, man. You guys know how much I loved Hereditary and how much I also loved Midsommar, man. But yeah, this movie's weird as fuck. If you couldn't guess that from the trailers, this movie is weird as fuck. It's exactly what you expected to be from the trailers. But overall, I still thought it was a fantastic movie, mostly being that way from the visuals, man. Ari Aster, man, he is an incredible director in his own right, man, and he once again proves that in this film, man. And that was definitely the one thing that was definitely keeping me engaged with it, because I already knew that I was probably not gonna like this movie as much as I did Hereditary and Midsommar, but I knew at the very least this movie was going to be an experience, and it was, and Ari Aster was gonna, and Ari Aster Drake was most likely going to keep me engaged throughout the almost 3-hour-long runtime film, which I did not know, man. It wasn't until I started watching it and I checked the runtime that I found out this movie is almost 3 hours long. It's like a minute shy of being a full 3-hour film, man, which is kind of insane, man. I give Ari Aster got some balls on him for his third film to be a 3-hour-long film almost. So, shout outs to him for that, man. But yeah, man, it's a fantastic film, but it's definitely weird as fuck, and it's definitely gonna be it's a movie you're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it, man. It's one of those movies where there's no in between. But enough jibber jabber. Let's jump right into the movie. It's of course directed by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ari Aster, man. You guys know how much I love him, and of course stars Joaquin Phoenix, Parker Posey, if I'm pronouncing her name right, Armin Nath. What the fuck kind of last name is this? Nahampentian? This dude's gotta be European or something, man, with a last name like that. I probably butchered that one, and apologies if I did. Kyle Rogers, Amy Ryan, and the plot of Beau is Afraid. A reserved man who makes regular visits to his therapist manages to manage his anxiety, finds some challenge when he's embarked on a tumultuous and emotional odyssey to get home to his mother. Now, like with my reviews on both Hereditary and Midsommar, I am going to be as vague as possible, because once again, man, I think Ari Aster is the kind of director, man, where the less you know, the better going into his films, man. If you can go on these movies completely blind, man, I think that's the best way to watch it. Because like I said, guys, that's how I got into Hereditary, man. I went into that movie completely blind, solely going off the recommendations of my fucking econ teacher from high school. Hey, man, you should check out this Hereditary movie. It's really good. And, you guys know the rest of the story of that one. Midsommar was the same thing, man. I watched the trailers, man. I was hyped for it. Finally saw it, man, and I was blown away by it. And I gotta say this, man, you guys know how Ari Aster likes to get weird with his movies in the third act, man. That's when the movie kind of goes off the rails, so to speak, and gets really wacky and crazy. That is basically the entire movie. Imagine the third act in Midsommar and Hereditary, but if it was the entire movie. That is basically what Beau is Afraid, man. This movie is so goddamn weird and makes no sense. Honestly, I don't even know what the hell man was smoking to come up with the ideas in this movie, man. I know he said something about this movie being like something to do with like, you know, growing up or being Jewish. So maybe to Jewish people, they kind of understand what the hell this man was going for, and some of the stuff he gets into in the later half of the film, man. But you know, as a non-Jewish Black Hispanic male, you know, that has never known any Jewish people in my life, I have no idea what the fuck any of this shit is. And this is definitely the kind of movie that will get analyzed to Kingdom Come, and like you can probably find every scene has like triple meanings behind it, and you can make this huge thesis about it, analyzing the film. You want to get that deep with it if you know all the stuff that he was going for. It's definitely this kind of film, man. But I'm too dumb to understand it, man. I am too dumb and too ignorant to understand what the hell half this shit, what the deeper meaning behind this film is trying to tell you, man. I will just tell y'all right up here, right front center, man. Right, I'll just be upfront with y'all on that one, man. But regardless of such, man, obviously the cast for this movie is fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing as he always is, man. He is incredibly. The other supporting characters that we get to see in this movie, man, are all fantastic as well. Especially when we get to like the family. Not gonna say more other than that, man, but like, yeah, and just like this whole movie is insane, man. Like this man lives in a world where it basically makes Gotham City look like fucking Metropolis. Low-key, man, it is just absolute insanity. The world this movie inhabits really is, man. But like I mentioned at the start of the review, man, the one thing that was constantly keeping me engaged, man, was Ari Aster directing. This movie is beautifully directed, man. So many great camera angles, man. So many clean cuts, so many clean shots, man. I love when he goes into different animals, man, where you see like the camera like moving, pans. Like there's one where he's like running into a door, and the camera kind of follows the door as he's closing it, man. It looks amazing, man. There's of course that one sequence that was in the trailers where we see him kind of looking like he's like on a stage player kind of thing. That whole thing sequence, man. Well, the full thing in the movie, man, looks absolutely breathtaking. I don't even know how the fuck they shot. Thank God, the sole bonus feature on the Blu-ray is a behind-the-scenes featurette, man, a making-of documentary, man. I do wish, like, I don't know why there wasn't like a commentary track added to it or some deleted scene, but then again, this movie's almost 3 hours long, so obviously not very many scenes were left on the cutting room floor, so that's probably why, man. But it would have been kind of nice to get like an audio commentary track. Well, but I'm glad the one bonus feature we did get was a behind-the-scenes feature, because I'm definitely going to give it a watch, because I would love to know how that sequence was done, man. It looked like mixing the CGI with, you know, real life actors and everything, man. It looked amazing. But that was probably the highlight of the film for me, man. I thought that sequence was beautifully done, man. It looked really fucking good, man. There's some other really great directed sequences, man. The cinematography is also great, as well, man, as typical with Ari Aster films. And like that sequence was probably the highlight for me, man. The ending I thought was really well done too. I thought that sequence was really cool, man. Like I said, I'm trying to be as vague as possible, man. And yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be as vague as possible, man, because like I said, the less you know, the better going into his films. So like I said, I won't be getting too deep into it, but yeah, this movie's a mind fuck, man. But I will say this, even though that this is definitely its own separate beast compared to Ari Aster's previously two films, those Ari Aster horror-ish, you know, that Ari Aster South Harmon is still very much in this film, man, in very select sequences, man. But when you get to these, man, you're like, oh yeah, that is definitely Ari Aster behind the camera, man, making this movie, man. Because there is some really fucked up shit in this movie, man. And you know, like when we get to like some of the stuff in the end of the movie, man, I'm just like, bruh, how the fuck do you even come up with this shit, man? Like, how do you even come up with this shit, man? It was some freaky shit. There's some nice gore to this movie, man. Some nice practical effects as well, which you guys know I always love to see. But, yeah, man. Now, in terms of flaws, like I said, the movie makes no goddamn sense. At least for someone like me, man. So, there's that, man. And I will say, I don't think this movie needed to be almost 3 hours long. They probably could have cut this movie down to a little bit more manageable length, man. But like I said, but I will say it doesn't really feel like 3 hours. I thought the pacing was pretty good all around. I did not feel the 3 hours, man. I was like, oh my god, I'm really starting where I felt like bored or tired of the movie, man. Like I was engaged with the whole thing, man, and like I said, it did not feel like a 3-hour movie, or I guess almost 3 hours. Because like I said, it's only an hour and 30, like 2 hours and 59 minutes total for the runtime. Don't really got much more other than to say that guy so well. Yes, this is my least favorite Ari Aster film. You guys know, like, he's one of my favorite directors working currently. So whenever he makes another movie, man, whenever that is, if he goes back to making more of a standard horror movie, like, you know, like Hereditary or Midsommar, or he ends up doing another like weird ass artsy movie like this, man, I'm gonna be there day one, man. Well, maybe not day one, because you guys know I didn't watch it until it finally came out on Blu-ray and to finally watch it. I was not there day one when this movie came out in theaters. But whenever he makes another movie, man, I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna watch it, man. I'll probably love it once again. Like, I know with this guy, man, I know that even if it's a movie that I'm not head over heels with, like I was with Midsommar Hereditary, man, I know it's gonna be an experience all of its own, man. And Ari Aster did not disappoint in that regard, man, at least to me, man. So, what I recommend you guys check this movie out. If you liked his other movies, man, and for some reason you still haven't seen Beau is Afraid, but check it out. It's now finally on streaming. It's on Showtime and Hulu, apparently, at least according to Google. So, you know, you guys can check it, Paramount Plus as well. So if you guys want to check out the movie, man, you can definitely check it out. It's now finally available on streaming. So there you guys go if you have not seen it already. For everyone else, man, I don't know, if you were not big on Hereditary or Midsommar, man, you will hate this movie, man, and this is definitely not the movie for you, man. But for everyone else, man, I think you guys will at the very least enjoy. I think you might have at least. I think you will at least enjoy the experience of this film, and it'll definitely be a memorable film for you guys. So yes, well, it's this week's film, at least in my opinion, man. Like I said, I think it's unfair to compare these three films, man. But it was still a fantastic film to already, man, and definitely an experience while I was watching it, man. So yeah, man, don't got much more to say on that, guys. Overall, my final for this movie is going to be a 9 out of 10, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my social if you feel like it. Links down screen below. And as always, come out for more. See you guys next time.